So I want to show you a few habits that make it much easier to play great rhythm guitar. Here are three basic but very big ones. Good pocket with the right hand, good aim with the right hand, and good muting with the left hand. Now we'll go much deeper later in this video, but first let me give you a quick demonstration of these. So let's talk about how these three habits just came into play. First, I'm aiming for the top two strings, and then I'm aiming for the top three strings, and then I'm aiming for the bottom three strings. So you can use these same three tricks on a very famous Led Zeppelin song. Notice how my index finger is naturally muting the A string when I play this F sharp note. Now I add in this chord, and I aim well, and I can do this. So now I want to move to a song that I actually played on. This is Crowded House's Don't Dream It's Over. I recorded this with Crowded House in the basement of Capitol Records Studio B in 1986. I did all the ambient second guitar parts, did it live with the band. This is Neil Finn's rhythm guitar part that he opens the song with. So when you look at the tabs on the diagram, you can see there's a red X on the low E string. That means it's muted. The way that gets muted, it's one of the most brilliant and least talked about things in rhythm guitar. You can see my index finger is resting. It's bumped up against the low E string. That prevents it from sounding. I don't even think about that. I'm just forming the chord, and this happens naturally. It's second nature. And then I have a constant motor with my right hand, and the figure is created when I lift up my left hand as I play the three different chords. So another really important habit is the ability to play downstrokes consistently, evenly, and both in open and closed manners. Now let me explain this to you. Either quarter notes or eighth notes. And by open and closed, I mean full on or muted. Or in some cases, both. And the way you do it is with the side of your palm. It actually anchors things really nicely too. Now on Feel Your Love by Van Halen, he does both. You see what he's doing? He's muting the low E string, makes it percussive and sharp, and then these notes are speaking out full, wide open. Now with a riff like this, we're muting with the left hand here, but it's pretty natural because when you play this riff, the index finger is naturally laying lightly over the A string, and then the little finger is naturally laying over the top three strings, and you're picking the other two notes. You just need to be accurate with your right hand and play in time. Oh, and there's one other really cool riff that you can do the muted low strings and the open double stops. So I'm muting the low E and the low A and letting the double stops above ring, create some cool syncopation. So here's another song I played on. It's Michael Jackson's Black or White, and Bill Bottrell's signature guitar part that happens in the intro and throughout is a case study in both aim and muting. Bill has to aim for the top three strings, and he has to mute between each phrase. When I do it, I use the side of my palm to mute and also the flesh from the left hand. Now, my part in this song came about because Michael Jackson was enamored with Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood, and he wanted a part in the bridge that had that spirit. So I came up with something like it, not the same, but that had that kind of vibe. And this is wide open. I have to aim for the low E string most of the time, and then there are upstrokes that grab these chords. And if you take out the left hand, here's the pattern. So now I'm going to play you the intro to a very famous song by John Frusciante and the Red Hot Chili Peppers that's an absolute masterclass in the idea of grabbing one note at a time while you're strumming big and slamming all 6 strings. Real quick, we're giving away a collection of 30 free guitar lessons. Click the link below for instant access. Now, this may seem like an easy riff, but it's anything but easy. The thing that makes it hard, and if you watch him do it live, he's doing wide strumming, and that's what gives it the sound. That's what gives it the aggression and the power. Now, he might be aided by the fact that he does it with his thumb partly. The thumb does this B note and this C note and hangs over. Might be helping the muting in here. It's really hard to get the notes right on the riff and the notes right on the muting without stuff popping out. When I do it, I'm still in danger of things spiraling out of control. It took me a couple of days to even get decent at it. Now, of course, the chorus is a lot easier. So the guitar I'm using today is my Bill Nash Strat. I've had this guitar for about 20 years, and when I got it, the bridge, I was telling my members only live stream guys yesterday, guys and gals, that this was frozen in place with rust, and I still haven't fixed it. So I'm going to fix this bridge, but I can't really adjust it right now because it was frozen from the factory with rust. Pretty cool. Has really high gain Lawler pickups in it. And it's always been one of my favorite sounding Strats. Has a really wide neck. And it's kind of crazy. I put 8s on this. I have 9s on some guitars. I have 10s on some guitars. 10s are great for rhythm. 9s are great for soloing and rhythm. And 8s are really great for soloing. But when you put 8s on some guitars, they sound really plinky. This guitar sounds good with 8s. The main thing about rhythm for me that keeps me solid is this right-hand motor. And I used to call it the pendulum of a clock. Now I call it the motor. And if you keep this going constantly, you can take a couple of rests, you'll play in time and in rhythm. And I keep coming back to the concept of when you practice. I mean, okay, it's great to practice scales. It's great to practice anything structured and boring and bland and all that. But always practice playing over songs because they will feed you. They'll make you inspired and you'll feel good about your guitar playing right away, and then test yourself. Like what I would do is play the part on the song with the song, have fun with it, turn the song off, and then test yourself and play the part by yourself and see how it holds up alone. And you'll be shocked. I mean, I'm shocked sometimes at how I'm not really getting it like Eric Clapton or Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page. But yeah. So anyway, Bill Nash is an amazing guy, and I don't do a lot of work with his guitars. You know, I have some other companies I work with more, but we are friends. I met him about a year ago, and he's an amazing human being. So that's just an FYI. He came here and put this decal on my headstock. He sent me one. I tried to put it on. I totally failed. And he was in town, and he came here, and he put it on there. So that was really nice of him. I used it without his name for a long time, and I said to myself, this is really bad. You need to have your name on my guitar that I'm using in videos all the time. So he put it on there. But he honestly didn't care. He has so much, you know, he's one of those guys like Tom Anderson that these builders, every guitar they make is sold, you know, and they don't necessarily want to grow their businesses too big because there's dangers in that. So, you know, like Tom Anderson and Bill Nash and then Avi Shabbat, who I'm going to show his guitar soon, every guitar they make is sold, you know, so he doesn't really have to ask people to demonstrate his guitars or, you know, pay people to do endorsements and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So anyway, he's a good guy. We're friends. I'm going to play for 1 minute. Look at the chat. Thanks again. You guys are amazing and fun and funny. And I sit here, I start laughing when I look at the chat. Somebody just asked if I hold the pick differently for rhythm. No, I don't, but I do hold the pick very loosely. I've even had people comment. I do this thing where I actually will open my hand and the pick will just sit there. And the reason that happens is there's a little bit of maybe oil on my finger or whatever, so it does kind of adhere a little bit, but that kind of shows you how loose I hold the pick. There's no tension. I was talking yesterday in the Masterclass only live stream about how the only place I hold tension, and I hold a lot of it, I hold a lot of tension here and a lot of tension here. And then, of course, when you're sitting playing guitar, you get really tight in the right hip, right leg area. But I try and make sure, and I recommend this to you guys, try and have no tension in your hands or your wrists or your elbow. Keep it all loose. And indeed, one of the reasons I use 8s on certain guitars, 9s on certain guitars, and another one of the reasons I don't play acoustic a lot is that if you're playing a guitar that's hard to play, if you're playing a guitar that has strings that are hard to press down, I don't think there's any benefit in that. I like my action really, really low. And you'll see that I take the truss rod covers off guitars a lot because I'm constantly adjusting the neck so that it will have low action with minimum buzz. I like super low action because I want to preserve my hand. I don't want any problems to develop with hands or fingers or wrists. And a lot of my favorite players, like if you watch Dan Huff, there's a great video on, Vertex. Mason did a great video with Dan Huff. I did sessions with Dan Huff, and I would watch him play, and it was like he was barely lifting his hands off the guitars. I've seen other players with that kind of economy too. I strive for that economy. I don't really achieve it. I'm a bit of a hack in the fact that I do kind of lift up and I exaggerate movements more than some guitar players. But the really, really best instrumentalists, they have so much economy that it almost looks like they're not doing anything. I would say Matteo Mancuso falls in that category. He has total economy in both hands. But along with that comes the idea that you're not fighting anything, you're not pressing down too hard, you're not straining, you're not stiff in any manner. So I am very stiff back here. The right shoulder for guitar players, that area, I don't know if you guys are like that, but that's where it all gets tight. Now, what I'll do is, and this has been highly recommended by other people, if you take a break, lay on the floor, spread your arms out, and do some, there are physical therapy exercises you can do to actually open up your chest and open like this. That's a great anecdote because we spend our lives as guitar players like this, just hunched over this guitar. So it's great to counterbalance that with, physical therapy exercises that open like this. I'm going to actually talk and play at the same time. So I use double stops a lot when I play rhythm. And the double stops are often on the top two strings. Okay, then I'll add a third string and do 3 notes, and it's usually still the top 3 strings. Okay, and then I keep the motor going all the time, and it's all this muting with the left hand that allows me to play a single note and not strike any strings that I don't want to use. And I can really do endless combinations just by either hitting the note, hitting the muted note, or hitting the air above the note. If you're hitting the air above the note, then you're saving the actual sound and it's becoming a syncopated part. See that? All air. And if you're muting well with your left hand, this stuff sounds good. And then you can go down low. And I'm just aiming kind of at an angle, so I only am hitting these bottom three strings. So it's all the motor and then all the muting over here, and then you're free to just go for it. Somebody in the chat asked about, okay, so if you're playing this chord, turn my delay off. Delay is my addiction, but it's better to turn it off when you're demonstrating stuff. So if I'm playing this chord, and of course, like I said, the index finger is muting that low E string. Somebody asked the question, well, doesn't it make a sound anyway? Well, yes, it does, but signal to noise dictates that all the other notes are so much louder that that low note, you don't hear it. So this is happening, but you're not hearing it because all the other notes are louder. So that's why it works. And what I didn't demonstrate before is, if I didn't do that, I'm playing an E flat on that Crowded House song. That low E note would be the worst.
You're not fretting it.
Exactly. The craziest thing about guitar playing when you're playing in a band is that the less you play and the more simple your part, the more profound and great it is. Okay? So I did a video about Steve Lukather's song he did with Michael McDonald, I Keep Forgetting. So I guarantee you that part was completely spontaneous. He sat down with the band, and he just sat down and did that. And it's a simple part. The simplest parts are the best. I mean, consider... Right? I mean, it's like, you know, I love planting that flag of simplicity everywhere. So when you ask how we came up with that stuff, here's the deal. If you're playing in an ensemble, the bass player is playing a busy part. They're down low. They can do that. Maybe there's a keyboard player who's playing something absolutely amazing. And your role, the best thing you can do is go... Guitar just works so well that way. So it's a paradox. You know, we see so many guitar players who are just shredding and playing a million notes a minute, but when you're playing with people on a song that a singer is singing, the most profound, great guitar parts are often the most simple. Do I know anyone who's suffered from osteoarthritis in thumb or guitar hands? I think that stuff is coming for me. My dad had it in his later years. Occasionally I'll feel a little bit of an ache right here. So I think what you do is, I think honestly, the more you use your hands or your you know, if it's in your knee, the more you use, and this is really true, the way to actually mitigate it is motion. Keep everything in motion. So that being said, if you have issues with arthritis in your hands, the more you play a guitar, the more you're going to keep it at bay. I firmly believe that. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to play and talk. So I just turned on my Nobels ODR1. And so I got a little bit of gain. Now I can play some leads. And this is pretty much just C sharp minor pentatonic. But I can do a 7-note scale. C sharp minor is probably my favorite place to play guitar. You know, there's nothing wrong with admitting that, really. Partly because Hendrix used C sharp minor for a lot of his compositions, and it's it's E, the relative minor of E. But you know what's great about it? What's really amazing about it is your hand fits perfectly over the frets at C sharp minor on any guitar. It's just perfect. And you can kind of hit an open string without too much penalty. I think I hit one in that solo. You know, it's sympathetic to mistakes, forgiving for mistakes. So I just got an email from a Masterclass member who wanted me to teach a reggae lesson, and the answer is yes, absolutely. It's actually a great discipline because think about that. My way into that would be to do quarter notes. So you're doing a motor that is slow, and that in itself is a challenge. What I would do is mute the downbeat and then sound the upbeat. Here I go. I'm going to talk and play again. The other thing that's crucial is that you would play the stab and then immediately lift your finger off so that it stops it. See what I'm doing? The index finger is playing the stab and then lifting up immediately. But more crucial is to keep the motor like this. This is a great example for the idea of keeping the motor. And then if you want to double it up, you have to double the motor. And that's natural too. So there's really two motors. There's this one, and then this one. That's really it. Reggae music includes mucho cannabis. I saw Nigel laughing, and I thought, that's you guys are amazing. You really are. Oh, the pickups. These are lollers. These are the loud lollers. It came with loud lollers, and I love them. They're high gain. These are high gain Strat pickups, not vintage, not anything like that, and they've always sounded great in this guitar. If you played in a reggae band, your rhythm would improve greatly. Yes, yeah, absolutely. One other thing I wanted to say, and this subject came up yesterday in the live stream for Masterclass members only. Every piece of gear you buy, you will hit a wall with. You will realize every piece of gear you buy has limits. And if a digital piece of gear purports to do 100 things or 300 things, it will only do 1 to 3 things that you love. I guarantee you. Maybe 3 to 5 things that you love. So be prepared for that. And you will always hit a wall with every piece of gear. Every amp generally does one thing well. Every guitar does a few things well. Doesn't matter how much you spend. Don't worry about the disappointment of the gear you get not delivering everything your dreams demand, because everything hits a wall. Everything hits a limit. No matter what you have, what you're using, it does a couple of things well usually. Sometimes one thing well, sometimes 8 things well, but usually 1 to 3 things well. Like there are sounds I depend on in my fractal that there might be 5 of them, but and that comes down to taste. It's like you use the actual sounds that work for you and your music, and just because they give you 300 sounds, shouldn't chase all of them. Find the ones that allow you to do your music.